last, music247.com. We're changing the industry, one artist at a time. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Implosion. I'm your host, Veep, and let me tell you, I have another amazing guest. Before I do that, let me get the music going in the background. Here we go. So, for those that don't know about Implosion, what Implosion is it's a space where we celebrate the power that comes from within, that inner fire that helps push us to break barriers and to rewrite the rules. Tonight, I'm sitting down with a woman who has done exactly that. She's bold, brilliant, and breaking into a world where few women, especially Black women, are given a seat at the table. She's the host of Bitches Love Sports podcast and a passionate voice for my team. You already know who my team is, the Dallas Cowboys. And for the women in sports media, please help me welcome Jazz Monet.
What's up, Viv? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
Good. I like your intro. I was like bopping my head to it. I'm like, dope.
Thank you. We try to have those catchy tunes to make sure people, really hone into what we're talking about.
That's what's up.
Okay, so Jazz, how are you feeling today?
Today's been a good day. It's been a week, but today's been one of the better days. I'm sure the sunshine helps. So I'm good. I'm good.
And you guys just got over ice storms, right?
Yeah, I missed the Shrine Bowl because of ice storm. I was so sad about it because this was my first year getting credentials on my own. And so I was like, dope. I get to decide my own coverage and everything. And then it was just I couldn't go to anything, not safely. So
right. So I'm gonna start with this. Where did your love for our team, the Dallas Cowboys, come from? Was it family, hometown, or just Texas energy?
It definitely was not family or hometown. I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I grew up watching the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I went through this phase, this kind of gap in my life where I still love sports, but I think because I didn't have a lot of women friends who like sports, I just didn't find the community. So I was just kind of ignoring it. And so fast forward to I relearned my love for sports, start this podcast. I had a co-host at one time, and she was from Spain, had never watched American football. And so before the season started, we start watching Hard Knocks, and the Cowboys were on it that year. And I hadn't really been paying attention to who went where, but we're watching Hard Knocks, and I'm like, okay, CeeDee Lamb went to the Cowboys, dope, because I had watched him a little bit in college. I was really excited about the stories of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott because I remembered seeing stories about them, but I was watching the Saints, and then I had moved to Tennessee for a while, so I was watching the Titans. So I heard the stories, but I hadn't really kept up with them. And so I think just reconnecting with all these people who I'd seen headlines about, but kind of forgotten about, for me, that was I'm very much a fan of players. And so that's what drew me in.
Mm-hmm.
And then my co-host, since she hadn't watched American football, she started to like some of the players too. And so we just started following the Cowboys together, me helping her learn what football is and me just learning coverage. Then I got a position writing for Inside the Star. It's a Cowboys blog. And it was just game over after that. I just started loving the team more and more. So I'm a relatively new fan, but I do love the team. I so many of my favorite players are on the Cowboys. So that's where we are.
Nice. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is he's one cat I just really love. But Dak, I have so much respect for that guy. The crap he had to go through just for his life. Dak Prescott is definitely the guy for me. I would probably 100%. say my favorite, probably my favorite out of all the Cowboys. And I've been a fan since 95. And that's when I moved to Dallas at that time. Was that? Yeah. Wait, 95? Yeah, I went to college. I went to Art Institute of Dallas, and that's where I met my business partner in Dallas. And Here we formed this company much later. Anywho, all right. So this topic I definitely wanted to know. How did Bitches Love Sports come to life? What was the spark behind the name and the movement?
That's a that's quite a story, and there are multiple parts to it. So the
Hmm.
podcast was actually started during the pandemic, and going into the pandemic, me and my business partner, we had just opened a brick and mortar gym November of 2019,
Oh,
and fast forward to March, couldn't legally operate it in the state of Texas, but still had a lease to pay. And so I wasn't getting a lot of work just like with whatever side gig I could find to make money during the pandemic because there wasn't a
hmm,
lot to do, especially during like that part where so many things were shut down. So it
right.
was that, and then fast forward to 2021, they had the Olympics, so a lot of my time was spent like texting my friends or talking to my friends about the NBA finals and about the Olympics. And at some point that summer, two of my friends, I talked to them. Cool, we'll do it. They weren't doing a lot either. One was a teacher, another had a couple of different jobs, but she didn't have a lot of work at the time either. And so I was like, cool. They were like, cool, let's do it. And so I start looking at different names. We went through a lot of different names, and around the same time, I would talk to my dad every day. And he lost his vision a long time ago, but I would tell him about different
Mm,
things I saw on TV and the internet. And one of our favorite things to talk about was this classification of memes like bitches love da 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 da. And so you probably seen these. They're not as popular now, but like one of his favorite ones was like, buy that bitch a plunger. Bitches love bringing up old shit, right? And so, and so me and my dad would like just laugh about these, and I would just like read him these memes. And
hmm,
so like one day when like a few of the names that I came up with, they were like taken or been used before, and so one day I was just like, bitches love sports, like after the meme. And I remember asking my dad about it, and it ended up being the last conversation that we had before he got sick and passed away. But
mm,
it was a very long conversation. But one of the things that we talked about was me possibly going with that name for the podcast. And he was like, well, it's controversial, but I see how it could have like a deeper meaning to it. And he was like, you know what, kid, if anybody could pull it off, it's you. I think you should go for it. If you think it fits, then go for it. And we kind of talked about how sometimes titles and names don't have meaning until you give them meaning. So like me and my dad, we both like Aerosmith. And so sometimes we
mm,
would talk about how like the word Aerosmith does not have a meaning. And so if the band had been like Aerosmith, what the hell does that mean? And just passed on it, we wouldn't have Aerosmith as we know it today. But it's like what they
right,
brought to the table gave it meaning. And so
right.
that's been my mission ever since, is to like give the name meaning and kind of, I guess, have conversations with people when they have questions about it or don't understand the meaning.
Now that's dope. I like that. Okay. Um, the the calling, a woman in a man's game. All right. So let's talk about what it means to step into a space that for so long has been labeled as man's world. Because you didn't just enter, you came in owning your voice. What made you decide to dive into sports reporting and commentary?
So the podcast itself actually started from me just wanting to set an example of what it means to be a fan and be unapologetically myself as a fan. So the person who actually told me I should do a podcast specifically before I even went to my other friends about it, who were co-hosts in the beginning, it was actually one of my male friends. And he suggested it because he thought it was hilarious how like we'd be talking about the NBA, and I had like kind of celebrity crushes on some of the NBA players, and he thought it was hilarious how I would go from talking X's and O's and game analysis to like objectifying these men. And he was just like, you need a podcast or something. And he's like, not that I don't want to talk to you, but he was like, I have no interest in how fine Devin Booker is. Like, what? Um,
Got it.
and so but what I was noticing is that like I didn't express a lot of that side of my voice online because it's like you could have a very good point as a woman, but as soon as you say like a player is cute or talk about anything besides what the men who watch the game think is acceptable to talk about, it's like the first thing that they want to do is discredit you. So in the beginning, I really wanted to make a space uh, for people who just wanted to fan how they wanted to fan, who were tired of the gatekeeping, who were tired of, people like everything turning into like a dick measuring contest, ego based, all that stuff, and who just wanted to have fun with various conversations about sports. And so that's why we started the Facebook groups that we had in the beginning, and we also created a set of principles called ethical fangirling, where we were like, hey, fan how you want to fan, but also like some of y'all take this too far. Like, so like let's put some parameters, some boundaries on this. And so that was just a really fun time period in it. And then as far as like writing, I got to the point where I knew one day I wanted to legitimize what I was doing. I didn't like the fact that it was so easy to take being a fangirl and just write it off as like, oh, you're a fangirl. Like, okay, so go make your little YouTube videos and shut the fuck up. And so I was like, no, I have like legit thoughts that, I think would
Right.
be valuable to the fan base. And so that's why I wanted to start writing. And I set out to find a platform that would let me write, which was Inside the Star at the time.
Mm.
And so it really just came from knowing that there are so many different types of voices that can contribute to the sports space, and me wanting to contribute in the ways that I feel are appropriate. And I think it's so funny that you say like, oh, I came in owning my voice, because like honestly, I feel like I'm still finding my voice in a lot of ways. Like this is my
Understood.
fifth year, and I still feel like I'm figuring out exactly what I want to bring to the table. But I'm having
Hmm.
fun in the meantime. It's a journey.
That's the main thing. Having fun. I would not do this if I'm not having fun. Ooh,
Right.
because it can be a grind.
It is
It
a
can
grind,
it,
100%.
it could be a grind. So if you're not enjoying it, don't do it. I tell everyone that. Do you ever have a moment where you questioned if this space was ready for a woman like you, or did you just say, ready or not, I'm coming?
Oof. I question a lot of things. I question if the space is ready for me. I
Mhm.
question if I'm ready for the space. There are so many ways in which things don't fit, and I could probably go down the list because, like of course, some of the things that you think about in the very beginning are like, okay, how are Black women received? How are women usually received? And there's a lot of negative perspectives you could take from that. But like on my end, it's like I think after the first year, I realized I'm like, man, I didn't like I had an idea, but I didn't really have a plan. I'm like, what am I doing? Do I need a mentor? Like, am I doing this right? What does that even mean? Do I want to do it the right way? Like, is that even the fit for me? So there's just like there's a lot of questions, but I would say like yes, what you brought up is something that I think about every day, and then I have to
Mm.
think about the way that I fit into things because like I didn't major in journalism in school. Um, I don't have a mentor. I haven't followed a traditional career path in any way, shape, or form. Not even when it comes to content creation. I'm like, I don't
Right.
know what I'm doing in any front. I just do my best and hope people like what I put out.
I think you're doing a great job. That's why I sought after you, because I was like, you have poise, you have you're speaking with your chest, you're actually saying this is where I feel. And I was like, I respect that. So, most men will, of course, but I appreciate the human side that you're reflecting too, because I think you battle with what's called imposter syndrome. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Don't worry, I
Possibly.
do too. Pretty much everybody does, because we want to do the right thing. So I get it. I get it. I
Yeah, and I
get it.
think there's so few ways to measure what we do.
Mhm.
It's like any analytics model that you look at for content is going to be like, oh, views, engagement, and it's like, okay, but like, is that good? Like, should I be comparing myself to the person with 10,000 plus subscribers? Is my
No.
18 going on 1900 enough? Like, I feel like those are such bad measures because so much of that
Agreed.
is beyond what we can control. And so,
Yes.
like, at the end of the day, you just have like your consistency and your vision and like whether or not what you're doing aligns with your vision. And that's another thing that like really messed me up in the beginning is that like I was trying to make a space for women sports fans or just like sports fans who like broke out of the box of just like these macho egotistical men that we see all the time. And I'm
Right.
like, women don't even seem to like my content. And so now I'm like, okay, so now
Yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But like if I were measuring myself by that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would have quit a
Right.
long time ago
Oh
if that
yeah.
was like the measure. But I
Yeah.
just kind of had to say like, okay, even though I'm not getting the eyes from women or having the conversations with women that I was hoping for, how do I feel about what I'm doing? And
Yeah.
that's been kind of like the North Star I've been trying to find lately.
Most definitely. I received that 2000%. If I based my success by likes, I would fail a long time ago, because
Yes.
it's not really based on that. You have to be focused on your love of what you're doing, what you're speaking about, and then that's the direction you want to go. And
Hmm.
the way we did Blast is even kind of against the niche of the algorithm, because we got 10 to 15 different podcasts that we do every week here, and it's all
Hmm.
different type of genres. So you already know the algorithm is going to be going local because nothing is the same. We
Right.
didn't want it to be the same. What we want is people to enjoy the content we bring. We try to educate, we try to inform as well as entertain. We got country and western, we got hip hop, we got rock and metal, we have a doula podcast. I mean, we have everything. We're just trying to help fill the void in the community. That's basically what we're trying to do. So, I get it. So
That's what's
what you're
up.
saying is, thank you. What you're saying is absolutely correct. Do not base your podcast on the likes and followers and how many people watched the show. Consistency is the key. We
Hmm.
at the end of December, we just broke 1.2 million views of all the
Nice.
shows we did, and it's because we grind. We didn't look back, we just kept going. So what you're doing, my friend, is great. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Indeed. What kind of reactions did you get early on, both positive and negative, when people saw a black woman talking confidently about football?
Whew. Um, I will say I didn't get as much negative as I thought I would get.
Hmm.
Like, honestly, most of the negative came from the name of the podcast and people trying to get me to change the name, or people outright telling me they didn't want to come on my show, like be a guest on my show because of the name. And that was really, it was something I struggled with a little bit because some of those people were people I considered friends. Some
Mm,
of those people were people I considered women friends,
yeah.
um, who talked sports and were like, well, yeah, I love talking to you, but I can't come on your show because oh, it could hurt my image, it could hurt my brand, and I'm just like,
Oh
what,
boy.
what? Wow. But I think some of the positive feedback that I got was just, I mean, and it continues to this day. There's so many people who love not only hearing me talk about sports, but it's like I remember when I first started venturing like outside of sports or away from the Cowboys, because like we didn't even talk about Cowboys in the very beginning. It's like we would discuss Hard Knocks, but then we would like spend 2 or 3 weeks on something else and then come back to the Cowboys or something. It wasn't necessarily like every episode, and so the Cowboys became a consistent part of my show once I started writing about the Cowboys, and then like probably midway through that first season where we were discussing them, and then like our Cowboys, like the segment of our fan base that was Cowboys started to grow. And so after that, I did start doing a lot of Cowboys content, but then like I was like, I still have other interests. And so having so many people who found me through the Cowboys, and then I'll be like in the middle of a live and I'd be like, can I kind of like nerd out with y'all for a second? And they're in the chat like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just like, cool, like this is dope that like y'all just like to hear my perspective and hear from me, even if it's not your favorite team or the reason that you started following me or the reason that you subscribe. So
Right.
that's still to this day some of the most positive feedback that I get is that people just respect my voice.
Hmm.
They're a fan of what I bring to the table as an analyst, as a commentator on sports and on culture, and they support it and want to see me win, want to see me grow.
That's what's up. I love it. Being a black woman in sports media is about more than stats and commentary. It's about representation, confidence, and courage. So let's get into that. Have you ever felt pressure to prove your knowledge or credibility in any way that made male peers didn't have to, whereas male peers didn't have to?
Oh, absolutely. That's a conversation that I've had with several other women who cover sports or just sports fans. It's for probably about like a couple of years, one of the things that I struggled with, and it's something that I still struggle with, but not as much. But it was just this idea that my takes, my voice would not be respected if I couldn't talk X's and O's. And I did recognize that that was something that like not every man had to do. There are some men that I listen to who their takes are outright bad. They sound ridiculous. Like some of these men out here do not know ball, and they have
Right.
like a bigger platform than I do. They have a bigger platform than other women who I know of who cover sports. And the only explanation that we can come up with is that they're men, and because they speak to men who are, you know, the majority of NFL fans,
Right.
especially when you consider not only NFL fans, because there are more women now who call themselves NFL fans, but there's fans who will watch the game, fans who are there for the vibes. But when we talk about people who are actually going to seek out content creator content, like creator made content and podcast on podcast about their favorite team, that is still overwhelmingly men. Most women are like, I watch the game and then I got other stuff to watch. But when it comes to who's listening to the podcast, who's watching ESPN, that's still men. And so just like you listen to some of these takes, you watch some of this content, and you're just like, okay, even without trying, I feel like what I'm bringing to the table is better. It's more substantive than what these
Mm,
guys are saying. Um, and it is kind of frustrating, you know? And so that happens all the time. It's an ongoing issue, not with just me and not with just Black women, but with women in general.
hmm
And it's hard to know how to fight that. Now, what I ended up doing is I found a way to connect the X's and O's with things that I'm interested in. And I also did take time to learn about the game, because one of the things that I tell people, especially women who I do still talk to about being a fan, and I'm like, look, if you want to learn the game, like starting by being a fangirl is one of the best ways to do it, because like I learned the route tree because I wanted to be able to speak intelligently about CD Land, you know?
Right.
I learned about what it takes to be a good NFL quarterback because I didn't want to just go and cape for Dak Prescott. I wanted to speak intelligently about why he's a better quarterback than what the media gives him credit for. So I'm just
Right.
like, if you have that person that you like, then yeah, absolutely start there. So I still do think that the X's and O's are important, but I'm also learning to still lean into what makes me unique without feeling the pressure to cover certain topics because that's what other people say, like, oh well, you're not a real sports content creator if you're not talking about this. Like I told my audience, I was like, look, I tried the draft thing for a couple years. That was fun. I learned a lot. Don't expect no draft content from me. Like if there's an interesting
Yeah.
story coming out of the draft, we'll talk about it. But I'm not ringing players. I'm not doing no mock drafts. Like it's not happening. I appreciate y'all for bearing with me during that trial phase, but like we're, you know, there's better things to talk about, especially this year. Oh my god.
Yeah. Draft is a whole different animal. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
I leave that to my boy Vach and Brian Broaddus, man. They
exactly,
do they
exactly.
do a great job, so I let them do that. What are some of the barriers you've had to push through in order to be taken seriously in this field?
Honestly, I don't think I'm taken seriously yet.
Not there yet,
um,
huh?
I appreciate the teams and venues that have granted me credentials. So if that counts as being taken seriously, or like writing for Cowboys Wire, like, you know, I would say those people who did give me credentials or did give me a platform to write, they were able to just look at what I bring to the table in terms of coverage, and they didn't think about anything else, not the name of my show, not how I dress, not how I talk. Um, but I would say for the people who seem to struggle with taking me seriously or refuse to, um, so some of it is outright like jealousy that has come into play, which is funny because like I feel like I don't have shit. I feel like I have not done anything yet. So I'm just like, and it's not just like me assuming it. It's like stuff will
Yeah.
get back to me. Like, yeah, so and so said such and such, and I'm just like, but why? I'm like, I'm out here struggling. Like, what? Um, but yeah, jealousy is a thing. There's also like this distrust of not only women, but like women who are found attractive. Like it seems to be that like if you are labeled as an attractive woman, which apparently I am, which was also a surprise to me, because I did not break into this thinking like, oh, I'm so cute, I'm just gonna get all these views. That was not my thing. Like people had to convince me that like, no, you're attractive, like you're a good looking woman doing this, and I'm like, Okay, dope. I'll
Okay.
I'll take that. If you say so, I'll take that. Um, but like apparently there's like this distrust of attractive women where they think you have some ulterior motive
Right.
or that you are like using your feminine wiles to get somewhere. And I'm just like, look, if that's what I
Right.
was relying on, I'd probably be further in this. um, if we're
Got you.
being real.
No doubt.
um and so it's just it's really weird, the assumptions that people will make about how old they think I am or what they think I've done or what they think
Right.
I'm trying to do. It's just so many people who will look at you, and whether like it's like they'll find you attractive or they'll think that you're charismatic or well spoken, and then just make all these assumptions like, oh, you think you're better than this person, and
Oh boy.
you must be trying to do this, and you must be trying to steal this person's spot. And I'm just like, I'm not thinking about any of that. But I've probably dealt with more negative reactions due to assumptions from people who don't actually know me than anything. It's
Mm,
bananas. It's bananas.
that's wild. What's your approach when you encounter people who underestimate you before you even speak?
Okay, so the opposite end. When people underestimate me, I usually just take the opportunity to have a conversation with them and go from there. Cause like it happens in different ways. Like sometimes it's not even a negative way that they will respond to me because they underestimate me. Sometimes it's that they'll invite me on their show and expect the conversation to just be like very light or make jokes or things like that, which I can do. But then whenever I'll like break out a stat that maybe they hadn't heard, or a particular storyline or something that I've researched, all of a sudden it's just like, oh. And so like I just try to be myself regardless. And so like I'm not gonna downplay my own knowledge to make other people comfortable. And they'll either figure out who I really am or they won't. And I just leave it at that.
That's what's up. Well, I'm telling you, Jazz, you are impressing me, and I am grateful that you took this time to chat with me. What I want to do right now is we're gonna play one of our blast artists. Um, this young lady is also in Texas. Her name is Ann Sharia, and this is
Okay.
called "Ain't Got Time." Let's check it out.
The beginning and no end, and middle ground tailspin. We're moving. Trust in the universe, you say. Don't you let nothing stand in the way. We're winning, winning. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing, breathing. Crisscross and mismatched shoes. Wrong path, now what to do? We're cruising, cruising. Lampshade against moonlight, offset the dark from night. We're gleaming, gleaming. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing, breathing. Prude clicks and passers-by can't dream life beyond the skies. They're losing, losing. Soft lips behind the lies, hate resting in their eyes. They're scheming, scheming. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing, breathing. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing, breathing. da ba do ba. Hey, yeah, me, yeah, ba da da, ocean. Sweet, do dee dee, ba da da ba do ba. Yeah, yeah, me, yeah, ba da da, ocean.
And that was Aunt Sharia with Ain't Got Time. And if you are an independent artist, spoken word poet, or up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you too can go to blastmusic247.com, register as an unlimited fan, and get access to hundreds of independent music. Blast, we're constantly changing the industry one artist at a time. What do you think about Aunt Sharia?
Oh, she's got a beautiful voice. And it's like, I could tell that the vocals weren't overly produced. Like, I don't know if listeners realize how much of like just the smoothness and like pitch is manufactured these days. And so like when I hear vocals that sound like relatively raw, but like she's still like on key, she's still like, improvising and just very smooth with the vocals without having to overly produce. I'm like, yo, she's got something. She's got something for sure.
Yeah, and Sharia got some chops. She was very controlled on that song. Indeed.
Yes, yes.
All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now hopping in with us, this is the wonderful Jazz Monet, host of Bitches Love Sports. So we are on another conversation. This one says, let's talk about the climb, because success never just happens. There's always a process behind the passion. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you were first getting your podcast off the ground?
So I feel like I'm still getting it off the ground, honestly. And there's so many obstacles, and I hate to sound cliche or cheesy, but like one of the biggest obstacles has been myself. Like literally figuring out how to listen to my own inner voice and not be so swayed by the outside opinions or approval of other people. And that's involved me doing so much work on myself. Like we're talking self-development, reading books, therapy, like working through past trauma, like so much of it. I feel like just being able to be consistent requires that, because like at the end of the day, that's the only way that you can grow. Like there are so many things that I feel like I need to work on. And I literally have a list of things in my phone that I feel like I need to work on, but I would not have discovered those things to improve myself if it weren't for me being consistent and putting out the content, watching it back and being like, okay, this is what I want to improve. This is what I want to do better. This didn't land how I thought it would. Okay, next time I do that, I need to try this. And so outside of that, it's probably just money and time. You know what I'm saying? Because like,
Right.
I think one thing people don't realize about content creators is like, people are like, if you love something, you would be able to do it for free. And it's like, not only do a lot of content creators do this for free, it's like, this is costing money.
It is.
People were like, you should try out OBS so that you can do XYZ. And I'm just like, I had to get a whole new laptop to even download and install OBS. And I'll probably even one day have to get another desktop computer. But like, I don't have a backdrop right now because like, that's once again, that all those things cost money. Like lights cost money, traveling, going to events cost money. You have to have time. You have to have flexibility. Like even just the time to like research the topics that I discussed. Like there's so much that goes into it that you have to like, I feel like you really need to love this in order to do it. And then you also have to really be able and willing to organize your life around it in order to do a satisfactory job. And then there's the patience, which I feel like also connects back to what I was saying about working on myself. Because it's like, if you try to put yourself on a timeline, if you try to compare yourself to other people, and I even had to start doing this, it's like I would hear about like some creator, like maybe even not in sports, like doing something else, doing comedy or doing like a technological podcast. And they're like, oh, this person has this many million followers. And I started looking up like, well, how old are they? What did they do before this YouTube show? And you start seeing how many people they're underground, behind the scenes, grinding away for like literally like 9 or 10 years before they actually get to the point where they made it.
Right.
I know personally some creators online who have tens of thousands of followers. They've got brand deals, they've got sponsorships, and they still have a separate full-time job. And
Yeah.
so that just put things into perspective for me. And I had to be like, okay, am I willing to work at this for like 9 or 10 years? Hell, am I willing to work at this for the rest of my life and never make it? Like,
Right.
these are all questions that you have to answer for yourself. So it's like what's your definition of making it is the first thing. It's like what is it that makes this worth it? Because like whereas you ask me like what were the obstacles to making it, and I look like I haven't made it, there are some other people who might debate whether or not I have quote unquote made it. They'll be like, well, you were on Girls Talk Boys Talk with the Dallas Cowboys, of course you made it. And then there'll be people like, well, like my boy K. Lou is at the Super Bowl, and I'm like, I haven't done that yet, so have I really made it? And so it was just like, for me, it was just like, okay, can we, maybe the definition of making it will change. For right now, can I learn to be consistent? For so many years into my podcast, I was taking breaks off for months and weeks at a time, to focus on whether was my other business or making money. But it always felt like, well, such and such is happening in my life. I just can't do it right now. And I would leave and I would come back. And I'm like, well, that's not only hurting me in terms of audience retention, but it's like, it's hindering my ability to develop as a creator. And so I was just like, okay, so right now, making it, being successful is going to be like, can I be consistent? Can I get a schedule and stick with it? Which is part of the reason why I'm at NTX Radio, because like that requires me to do my show every Tuesday. And so I was like, okay, can we stick with this radio station for a year? And so that's really where I am now. And the obstacles were just like myself
Yeah.
overcoming my own personal obstacles, and then just figuring out how to not let the things in my life that could be excuses hold me back from doing a little bit better at what I do.
Indeed. Whew, I feel you. What has being a content creator and podcaster taught you about consistency and self-belief?
What has it taught me about consistency and self-belief? So in terms of consistency, it has taught me to not depend on the feeling to be consistent, because I think there's an assumption that like, and it's like, even if you were to Google it, like, okay, if I want to grow on YouTube, like what do I need to do? And Google spit you out an answer like, you should probably post this many times a week, and you'll see it on Reddit and da da da. It creates
Hmm.
this belief that if you start posting, like your subscribers will be linear, the likes will be linear. So it's like when it comes to consistency, I had to learn how to enjoy the work and find satisfaction in myself of like, hey, I got the thing done. Was that my best podcast ever? No. But are we still going to go through the post production process of like creating the shorts, uploading it to the audio platforms, creating the standalone segments? Are we like, we're still going to do that regardless of how I feel about it, regardless of the feedback that I get on it in terms
Right.
of views, engagement, whatever. That is your job. So it's like I had to learn how to put on multiple hats. It's like you're not just the writer and podcast anymore. Now you're the producer. Now you're the manager. Now you
Mm.
are the CEO of this channel, of this brand. Like make it work. Um, and when it comes to self belief, like same thing. I had to learn how to find other sources of belief and validation in myself. And it's just like, yo, you won't always get the applause, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Like we got to stop assigning meaning to every single thing.
Mm.
And that was
Amen.
another area where like looking at other people kind of helps, because like I love Trevor Noah's podcast, but sometimes he'll get like 900,000 views and sometimes he'll get like 30,000, and I'm like, what if he felt like a failure and was like beating himself up every time he got like less than 100,000 views? Like what would I think of him? Like I'd be like, fam, what are you doing? Like it was one guess, like whatever, like keep moving. And so like I had to start looking at myself that way. It's like, okay,
Right.
what am I doing this for? Did I execute well? You know, what is it that I brought to this that I can be proud of and feel good about? And even if there is something that I feel like I should do better or learn, okay, let's make a plan for it. We don't really have time for like beating ourselves up. And I also had to put work into figuring out why I did that. That was another big part of it. It's like, why am I beating myself up? Why
Yeah.
am I not allowing myself to just move forward with the next step? Like, what is it that is
Mm.
making me feel like this negativity is okay? Like, how did this become a habit?
Mm.
And so figuring that out just kind of helped me get to a place where it's like, all right, I like, if I never get paid, if I never get a million subscribers, do I have a respect and appreciation for what I'm doing? And I
Mm.
can answer that with yes now.
That's what's up. What you're doing isn't just sports talk, it's representation. It's breaking ceilings. It's showing that women can love the game and lead the conversation. Let's talk legacy. What do you hope young girls, especially young black girls, see when they watch and listen to you?
I want young black girls to know that they aren't defined by the labels other people might place on them. There are so many, and not just girls, but even grown women that I meet, that their life has been impacted by what they thought black women could do, like what it was okay to do. And it's like representation is important. Like I don't want to downplay it as though that shouldn't matter, because like sometimes in order to see yourself doing something, it does help to see somebody else doing it. Hell, sometimes to even know something is a possibility, you need to see somebody else doing it, you know? And so like one of the reasons why I tried to get credentials and try to write is because like, is it a great experience for me? Yes. I love being able to go to the Wings games and sit in the press section, go to the press conference afterwards. That's so much fun. But I also wanted to send a message to the people who told me I would never get credentials because the name of my show is Bitches Love Sports and I do podcasts with my cleavage out. Like, I wanted to send a message like, yes, I can. Like, the skills that I bring to the table, like, I can still be a professional. Like, I can still get credentials. I can still get into these events. So, like, absolutely, yes, I can. And so I want other girls, and especially black girls, to be able to see that in themselves, that they don't have to think of themselves as less than just because of what somebody else says is acceptable. Because like when I was growing up, it was our hair.
Right.
This style, or wearing our hair natural, wearing our hair in braids, dreadlocks, oh, that was unprofessional. You could never get a job. And how many black women had to lose their hair, getting relaxers, wearing wigs, you know, just messing up edges and hairlines all over the country just to work, just to be taken seriously as professionals. You know, changing our own style, like dampening and muting our blackness, and what we bring to the table as unique individuals, all to fit in so somebody would just give us a chance. And even then, you still, a lot of times, didn't get a fair shot. Just all that to convince people that you weren't a threat, that you weren't scary. I don't want black girls to have to keep going through that. Yeah. I want them to be able to be like, you know what, I can be myself and still make good content, still write well. I can still carry myself with integrity, because in my opinion, that's the most important part of professionalism. Like, you know, I've seen people, they dress the best and they speak so well and their hair is done, and they are some of the most two-faced pieces of shit that you will ever want to interact with or hear from.
You're right.
Like, you hear from them behind the scenes and it's just like, oh my God, you're disgusting. Like, I don't ever want to talk to you again. And so I'm just like, okay, beyond what people think, where is your integrity? You know, what do you stand for? And so I want to convince young women to start focusing on things like that, you know?
Indeed. What's a piece of advice you'd give to another woman trying to carve out their own space in a male-dominated arena?
There's probably several pieces of advice. I'd say, like, networking is important, but be careful. Networking is important in any professional space, because a lot of times when people do favors, grant access, decide on promotions, they do that based on who they're comfortable with. And one of the things that has been a hurdle for a lot of women is the fact that men will naturally feel comfortable with other men. And when it comes to women, they're afraid that either women will come in and be the no fun police. Oh, now we can't joke about this. We can't do that because now there's a woman here. Or that women are going to come in and cause some kind of conflict because of people being attracted to them or whatever. Like, you've heard even politicians be like, well, I would never have a lunch alone with a woman. And so it's like, how can you even properly network if your colleagues and peers are afraid to have lunch with you? Or if they can't even text you because, like, oh, their partner might have an issue with them texting you, even if y'all are just texting on a professional tip, you know? So it's like, it's absolutely a relationships business. And you have to figure out how to navigate that without some of the stereotypes or some of just the bad behaviors of men, like, coming into play, you know? And there will be people who will try to take advantage of the fact that you don't really know how to play the game. Because, like, a lot of women don't have other women mentors who will literally walk them through it. They might have a male mentor who will tell them things from their perspective. And then, other than that, they're just going to do the best that they can. Or they might have, like, a woman who talks to them every now and then. But a lot of women don't have, like, a woman mentor who will literally hold their hand day after day, day by day. And so there's a lot that you have to figure out. So it's like, yeah, be careful, because me and my business partner, we have a saying where it's like when something weird happens, I'm like, man, I just don't understand why that person did that. And I hope it's okay to use this word, but he'll be like, what do we know? What do niggas do? And I'll be like, niggas lie. Like, and I don't mean that just as black men, but I just mean that, like, people lie. People will
Right.
lie to you. They'll say things that aren't true. Um, and so, yeah, there's just so much to be careful of. But at the same time, don't estimate, don't underestimate how powerful you are. You have to, like, have your own measure for what it means to be good at what you do and how to evaluate what you do. So that way you don't run the risk of taking the word of somebody who might be jealous of you, somebody who might be spreading rumors about you behind your back.
Right.
And speaking of that, also, don't take that personally. Does it suck? Yes. But sometimes the same people who are spreading rumors about you behind your back, they're not just doing it because you're a woman. They're doing it because they're a piece of shit, and they've done it to other men too.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, sometimes, like, yeah, you do just kind of have to put, like, taking things personal because you're a woman and put it on the back burner. So, like, be aware, be conscious of what your presence as a woman might do in the space and how people might respond to it. But at the same time, don't be so overly sensitive to it that it stops you from being the best at what you do, or it causes you to dim your light in any way. Like, if people have a problem that you're attractive, or that you, like, roll your neck when you talk, or you talk with your hands, that's a them problem. That's
Right.
a them problem. Do you?
No doubt. Well, Jazz, I love your fire. You've proven that passion and purpose has no gender, and that knowledge and confidence are their own kind of armor. I really do appreciate this, that you took this time to come chat with me. Please stick around before the end of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Jazz Monet. Jazz, where can people find you?
So right now, the best places to find me are on YouTube. You can search Bitches Love Sports. Same thing on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And then on Twitter, I have the Bitches Love Sports Twitter account, but I also have a new one that is Jazz Monet 51. And so until I get my website back up and running, it is under construction for now. So until I get that back up and running, those are the best places to find me.
Right. So you heard it from her. And just so you know, challenges are not the end, they are the engine. And let that fuel you to your purpose. I am the Veep. You know me. I'll see you next week with another amazing guest. God bless.